What causes freezing rain? Do we usually get some freezing rain before snow? So freezing rain and the different precipitation profiles, when we're talking about snow, generally, when we are at the surface all the way up to the cloud base, you have freezing temperatures.
Yes.
So it keeps the snow in the freezing condition, or the ice crystals in that freezing condition. And then when you get rain, you have temperature profiles again, all above freezing,
yes,
from the cloud base to the ground. With freezing rain and sleet, what's going to happen is you have this warm layer in between the cloud base and the surface. So when the snow is falling through that warm layer, it's going to melt. Well, with sleet, you have a little bit of cool air just before the surface, so it can refreeze just before it hits the ground and you get sleet. With freezing rain, you actually have the surface temperatures, like the actual ground is usually where you're getting that cooler air.
Yes.
And so everything is freezing on the ground. So when you get that rain to fall, it kind of develops a little glaze of ice.
Yes.
So it freezes on that surface.
That's some of the times it's hardest to have those road conditions too. That's honestly more dangerous sometimes than snowfall.
Oh yes, freezing rain can be something that's really
dangerous.
really dangerous to look out for. And with the follow-up to your question, do we usually get some freezing rain before snowfall? I'm not going to say on average no, because we're talking about freezing temperatures, especially with freezing rain, the ground has to be frozen.
Yes.
It has to be frozen. You have to have really cold temperatures on the streets and the sidewalks in your cars and trees and all that stuff. And we just haven't gotten that trend to see freezing conditions happening yet. So I would say on average, we don't really see that yet.
No, and that's a little bit more down the line, more December timeline. Once we start to see those daily highs more closer to that freezing level, that's when we're going to start to anticipate and be able to track some of those. And
one of the good things about freezing rain and ice events here is they're very few and far between. I will say last year we were kind of talking about them a little bit more. And that could be a testament to the warmth that we're experiencing more at times during winter.
Yes.
Because you're getting, again, most of the atmosphere has to be warmer than the surface for freezing and ice conditions to actually work.
Seeing if we have a freezing rain graphic.
Oh, okay, type in precipitation type.
Gotcha.
I know there's one because I've used it before.
I can't spell.
It's okay. You have an early morning brain.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Right there.
This one?
Yep.
Perfect. Let's pull this up so we can break this down a little bit better for you guys.
Yeah, so you can have some visual. So again, rain, it's cold at the very top, but once it falls, it's going to stay rain throughout the entirety of its adventure to the ground. And then with freezing rain, again, that's where you see it freezes on contact. So you have the cold air in the upper level of the atmosphere. It hits that really large warm layer, but again, it's really cold at the surface. So technically, I am not really concerned about freezing rain until later on in the winter, once our ground does start to get frozen as well, more consistently.
That's when we need to keep an eye on it. Again, that's going to be more, maybe even mid-December when we can start seeing those conditions.
Yeah, so then with sleet, like I said, that kind of warm layer is shrunken. It's not as long, but it's still enough for the snow to basically melt, and then it refreezes before hitting the ground, and then that's where you get those little ice pellets on the ground.
Those are fun.
Yes, a nice sleet.
Yes, who doesn't love sleet? Here's snowfall.
And then snowfall,
just
it's just cold.
It's just cold. It's just cold. That's all we got to worry about.
Yes, but that being said, and I know that's when we're looking at those temperatures, if we could see snow later on next week, our highs are in the low 40s. Overnight temperatures will likely get into the 30s. We can still see snow when it's above freezing at the surface. That's all the biggest thing is we're at the surface. If we are above freezing at the surface, you can expect that snow to either accumulate extremely heavily, it's going to be slushy, or it's going to melt upon impact.
Yeah.